ScreenBlast Society. This is another episode in the Cartoon Chat. I'm your host, K9 Biscuits. And here is my chauffeur.
Ha! Hello, sir. It's me.
Now drive me to Dunkin' Donuts.
Hey, you there! Buy this yellow drink. Hey, Prego. Hey, I'm talking to you, Tubby. Oh, don't you ignore me. Ooh.
ScreenBlast, we have like plenty of movies in theaters or whatever. No, just movies in theaters. We talk about like what we've seen recently because we go to theater a lot.
Of course, if
just
you
big blockbusters, small blockbusters.
If you see Mark invade his personal space in the movie theaters, that's his preference.
And stay out of my space. Stay out of Facebook too.
Oh my god.
And Instagram. Just stay out of all those social media sites.
Oh, hey look, guys, moving on. It's Cartoon Chat, the place we're in. Of course, that's where we talk cartoons once or twice.
I heard that show sucks.
yeah. Whoever will be watching this is absolutely stupid.
What an idiot!
We lost our viewers.
Blasting Turbo Ports. Blasting Turbo Ports, a podcast for gamers because we're gamers.
Oh, we're totally hardcore gamers. We play Fortnite, Call of Duty. We play all.
And we suck at all of them.
But that's what makes us Blasting Turbo Ports.
Yes. Have a cow. It's our memery or like whatever memes, news topics that don't have to do with like media and excuse me, or sometimes just some stuff we don't really talk about in our other shows, and about us and old commercials. It's a fun time. It's my favorite show.
Indeed.
Tune in for it. And ScreenBlast, because it seems today that all you see is violence, movies, and sex on TV. But where are those good old fashion values on which we used to rely?
Well, we talk about them on ScreenBlast.
Shut the fuck up, I was talking. But yeah, we talk about them on ScreenBlast.
You just talked about the violence and when you say that shit. Anyway, you can find all that and more on ScreenBlast. Of course, right in the corner there, recommended thing here is the Toon Talk that we spent time on, all about DreamWorks animation. You can find that right here on the same content that you're watching with Cartoon Chat. So, yeah, and before we go into further discussion, just want to let you know, guys, make sure to email us at cartoonchatpodcast@gmail.com so you can sort of throw us what you want us to cover. Of course, we did take one of your submissions for the Christmas episode. Yeah, we listened. We're not like the U.S. government. We actually listened to our constituents. So, you know.
Wait, what makes you think the U.S. government doesn't listen? They listen. They just don't like really do anything. It's like we tell them all this stuff, and they're like, "That's nice, kid."
Sit up for me. You're leaning down. You're on the sun, but you're like.
I'll do it later.
You're like an Oompa Loompa right now. I feel like Willy Wonka and. All right, with that snore, more than ever, it's time for us to get into the land of Family Guy.
Yeah, I'm afraid I might. Wow, thanks, Spider-Man.
Everybody gets one. Tell him, Peter.
Apparently everybody gets one.
Of course, we're talking Family Guy. Mark, I gotta ask you. Now, here on Cartoon Chat, we've covered quite a few different animated movies, a few different series. We spent some time talking about certain things on Toon Talk. I don't think I ever expected a day for us to just hit a show like Family Guy. So, Mark, I gotta ask you, why are we doing this? Why exactly, when there's so many shows, when there's so many different movies, when there's things that we could be reaching out to, why exactly did you choose Family Guy?
Because we kept going for, like, old cartoons. And I was like...
I mean, Tangled isn't old.
Huh? Oh, yeah, I forgot the movies are, like, a part of Cartoon Chat. I don't know, whatever.
Where are you? What? That's like our main, like, I don't know.
I don't know, I keep...
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I forgot. You were at that Paw Patrol convention.
Okay, what's the... Toon Talk is like when we talk about fucking...
I'm glad you know this. Yeah, Toon Talk is where we talk about most of our thoughts on particular sections of animation.
It's technically for right now, Cartoon Chat is like twice a month. We have like a show and a movie.
Technically, Cartoon Chat right now is leaning on once a month, though in January we're going to have a nice double whammy for you, brought to you by this man.
I thought it was twice a month. It was like movie and show.
Well, it was originally going to be movie and show, but the way that it balances out. Like last month, for instance, it was just Tangled because the schedule got tight. There were a lot of movies to cover, so Tangled was the only thing in November. In October, I think we were able to do a movie and a show. September was obviously the second month we were back, so we only did Atlantis. No, we did Atlantis, and then we did Duckman, and that barely edged out in the end of the month, I think.
Alright, well, the rotation is movie, then show, then movie, then show. That's what's been going on.
It has.
Not?
It has.
That's not what we're doing?
It can be anything.
The rotation is whatever, folks.
Yeah. This is all over the place right now. But overall, Cartoon Chat, of course, is where we sit back. We talk about a movie, a TV show, or a short. And we just spend time seeping ourselves into that a little bit, giving you almost like a mini panel discussion, a mini sort of nostalgic discussion, or sort of new insights on what we've seen and something that we may not have
Aren't all
watched before.
podcasts just mini panels and aren't panels just mini podcasts?
It depends on if they're good.
Oh, wait, sorry. Aren't all podcasts long-form panels and aren't all panels mini podcasts?
Some podcasts are like 30 minutes, so that'd be a short form panel. You get what I mean?
I get, yeah.
Uh,
Some panels are like fucking 30 minutes.
that's true, but those usually aren't the best ones.
Hey! Fuck you, buddy!
So, yeah, but, and then, like you said before, Toon Talk is our, just conversation piece. Like I said, the DreamWorks thing is Toon Talk. You know what's funny? Toon Talk and Cartoon Chat are literally synonyms. They're interchangeable. Cartoon Chat is just Toon Talk in a different way. It's just like the word animation conversation is literally Cartoon Chat, which is also Toon Talk.
Huh.
You can just, those words literally are the same thing in different forms. Anyway, I'm just gonna act like part of this wasn't here. So, Mark, gotta ask you, of course, here we are, we're talking about Family Guy, and it's like, why are we talking about a show that is, it's synonymous with American animation, of course, but, I mean, it wouldn't be on a lot of people's top of the list. Why are we doing this? Why did you choose this? Why are we going through this adventure, man?
Oh, because we're doing, like, the last shows we did were, like, nostalgia based. Even though Duckman was new to us, still, like, an older show. Okay, well, this one's also an older show, but it's more modern to us. It's more
it's a long running show. It's
it's a long running show. It's more in our recent memory.
Yeah.
And it's just something that's very easy for us.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you did research on the history. That's the only thing about it. That's pretty long form. It's like a decently long form history, but like I think we can sum it up just a bit.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed. I do want to ask you, before
we
dive into sort of the series itself, because I think this is just a cool idea. What got you into sort of Family Guy? Where did you first see it? Where did you first sort of enjoy it? Obviously we all kind of have an inception point for it. I think anyone that's our age, you were born mid-90s, I was born late 90s. All of us that have had a television, have had cable, or any sort of media has seen it somewhere down the line. What got you sort of into Family Guy?
I can tell you, not the Fox Network. I never watched anything from Fox.
Really?
Not really. So, I mean, of course, it was by Adult Swim.
Family Guy. Next Sunday at 11:30 on Adult Swim.
You were right, Lois. TV is evil.
They ran Family Guy a lot because I was already watching Cartoon Network. And, you know, if you watch Cartoon Network up to a certain time, oh, kids out of the pool, it's time for Adult Swim!
Right.
And that's when you see Family Guy. I mean, we're gonna get to these cartoons eventually, but like that's how I discovered Bob's Burgers. That's how I discovered Futurama. That's how a lot of people discovered Futurama, honestly. I mean, their time slots wasn't the best anyway. I mean, that's how I discovered other shit. Can't really name it. Also, Nick at Night too. Nick at Night is also how I discovered other shit.
Yeah, but
like,
let's be honest, Nick at Night isn't good. Nick at Night is not a good block. It's fine. It's got what, Home Improvement?
Oh, it's not as good as
Home
Cartoon Network.
Improvement and Full House. They were running that thing on repeat. Who cares? It's fine.
But yeah, but then they started running like Everybody Hates Chris and Malcolm in the Middle, which was my first time watching those shows.
That's how you know I didn't watch any of Nick at Night, because I didn't even know they played Everybody Hates Chris. Or
that's where I first watched the show.
That's hilarious. I'll be honest with you. I got into Family Guy not because of Adult Swim, because back then obviously it aired on Adult Swim from all the way at like 2002 all the way through to about 2021. For a good 20-year span, it was there. But I didn't get into Family Guy really on Cartoon Network because, unfortunately, I was kind of a goody two-shoes. Like I was like, when Adult Swim came on, I literally would be like, all right, I guess I can't watch it. It's unsafe. And I would literally not, at least at that age group. And so my first inception point into Family Guy, funny enough, was actually a PSP. And it's hilarious because, like, I don't think my parents realized this. They got me a PSP for my birthday. And it came with Daxter, but I think they didn't realize that it also came with, on the side, and I don't know if you guys can see if you're watching this, in a very small little image, it came with a pack of Family Guy. Now, I don't know if it was a smart idea to have an E10 Plus and then include Family Guy.
Well, freaking sweet collection.
Do I know you?
Looking at a third-string Pee-wee punter here, okay? I know something about the old gridiron. Let me jump in there and get a couple snaps. That's cool.
Dude, get your own. The all-new, lighter, slimmer PSP.
But, the freaking Sweet Collection is what I essentially watched over and over and over and over again as a kid.
Man, I remember when the PSP video format was huge.
Yeah, it was huge.
Not huge, but like
they had a good assortment. I'll say that much.
I remember when it was a big thing. When it was a thing, because I used to see, like, when movies came to video, it was like there used to be a thing like coming soon to DVD and video. But it's like during that era, I was like coming soon to DVD and PSP. Huh.
Yeah, I don't recall a lot of those commercials, but I remember one of my other kid favorite movies as a kid was Zathura, and that was on PSP as well, I believe. But either way, like, not only was the PSP cool, but it could use UMDs, these weird-looking this weird media playback format, and that's where I started getting to Family Guy. On top of that, I did actually watch Fox, and at night, on weeknights, you'd be able to watch, you'd watch The Simpsons, and then right after The Simpsons, there would be Family Guy. And those two would run back-to-back every night. I think it was like 5 and 5:30, or 6 and 6:30. And so, like, Family Guy was something that I definitely knew about, but it was like, it definitely, like, funny enough, Adult Swim was not the way that I watched it. So, like, there's so many moments from this specific collection that I remember, and a lot of early Family Guy I remember. But, yeah, man, like, that's what got me into it.
I gotta gush about the PSP again. I'm like, this is the best game system that was used as, like, a video player for back in the day, because I think before this you had the fucking Game Boy Advance.
Well, nothing matched its skill like it. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but the PSP is the PSP is literally, like, undisputed in the way that it handles video. I'm going. What the?
I thought I muted my phone. Just ignore me.
But the PSP is literally, like, one of the best systems in terms of its multifunctionality. Like, its ability to obviously access the internet, its ability to play games, its access of PlayStation Classic stuff, its game library. It's a great system. It also looked great for the time. It was a great feeling system to play on. And, Like, I love Daxter as well. That's the thing. Daxter was a fun game, along with the fact that...
Put your back into it, Jack!
it was the fact that Family Guy was on there. So those two were a fun duo to have as a kid. And, PSP, this was the exact box that I got, by the way. This is it. Like, this box set, so... Yeah.
With the classic phrases, "Victory shall be mine." Yeah, I heard that the first 10 times. Wow, that's funny dialogue. I should really watch this show. It's a baby talking to a dog.
It'll be a souvenir of your first Major League game with your dad.
My God, I shall cherish this forever. I say, Opie, I'll trade you this baseball for your souvenir bat. Sure. What did you learn?
Family Guy is a very long-running show. This is a series that right now, as of this recording, it has over 400 episodes. It's 22 seasons long. It's the 4th longest-running animated series on TV right now. And it debuted way back in '99. Now, of course, the whole thing about this show is it went through a lot of turmoil. Fox axed the show in 2002. Adult Swim ended up acquiring the rights to rerun this series, which actually boosted it significantly. It became one of the most watched series of all time. It became, at the time, I mean, it had significant DVD sales that year. Fox saw that success. They put the series back into production and awkwardly, funny enough, aired it alongside its replacement, American Dad, when it re-aired in 2005. Now, again, now, you know, when you talk about Family Guy, you got to talk about, again, American Dad. Another was more of a... So, oh my God. Fuck. Yes. No, at its height, Family Guy was all over Fox. It was a major piece. Seth MacFarlane was right on top, and that's where they released later the Cleveland Show in 2010. And like I said before, American Dad was out, but it was just sort of steadily growing in popularity up to that point. So yeah, that's essentially the series detail there at the moment. Yeah, if you wanted to, did you have anything you wanted to add, Mark?
Oh yeah, you can just go to me.
Yeah.
With the screen. Go to the version of me. There we go with the screen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So like, from what I remember, Family Guy like, Seth MacFarlane made a couple pilots for this show.
Yes.
He was trying to get this idea rolling. My favorite iteration of like the pilots is like the, if you ever saw the What a Cartoon version of it.
Hi there. My name's Steve. I'm a dog, in case you're, well, stupid.
This talking dog is trying to he's trying to set himself free, I think, or something like that.
Something like it, yeah.
And the only person who adopted him is this like idiot. And there's some fun animations, and it's like, it's definitely more like cartoony than Family Guy. Like Family Guy only uses cartooniness as a joke.
Absolutely.
But like it's a fun with a cartoon. Yeah, I think it got referenced in a recent episode when Peter was trying to play with holograms.
Yeah, it's pretty cool its evolution as it was becoming what we ended up seeing at the end of the day when it launched. But, you know, I think all the way back as far as like 95, he honed it and had ideas for it. You know, so yeah.
Oh, Richard, I disagree.
Larry, it says here your license is suspended.
No, they just took it away temporarily. Oh, let's see now, where to shop? Well, the Stewie's has usually got good stuff.
So, of course, we have the key members here. We've got Seth MacFarlane, who is one of the critical members of, obviously, the idea. And just, his voice is everywhere in this show. Obviously, his voice is in all of the spin-off content. I think outside of what? The Cleveland Show doesn't really have him involved in voice acting.
He makes cameos.
Obviously, Alex Borstein is Lewis. You've got Seth Green as Chris. And Lacey
It's the Robot Chicken Guy? What?
That's right. And Lacey Chabert was Meg for one season, first season, before Mila Kunis from That 70s Show stepped in. Mark, when you think about this lineup, I mean, these are iconic now, this lineup. I think you literally can't not think about Seth MacFarlane, like his legacy here, after, of course, commanding this.
This is awful. Like, one guy voicing three main characters, that's never going to go anywhere.
Yeah, but it is funny, and that's 4, by the way. Like, it is incredible that that this idea has lasted as long as it has. Obviously, it had struggles in the beginning, but there's always something very magical about like seeing Seth MacFarlane when you see one of those YouTube clips or videos where he just goes from character to character to character. Like, in person. Like, there's something very magical about that.
Because he's fucking good at his job. Just like Justin Roiland was. Like, but, like, that's the fun thing about, like, when people, like, staff who are, like, working on the show, mainly directors, and creators, when they're just, like, voicing a character on, like, voicing a main character on a show.
Yeah.
It's usually, it saves some money.
Well, that too.
Yeah, because it saves some money, and like it just like they can make sure it's a consistent voice as well, because like some directors voice their own characters, like what was it? Yeah, the creator of OKKO, I think Ian.
Yeah.
He voices Rads, the blue alien dude.
Yeah. Oh,
and
man,
you know,
that's awesome.
Justin Roiland, who's canceled now, he voiced Rick and Morty, of course.
That's true.
And we got other examples. There's plenty of examples out there, but yeah.
That's true. I mean, is there anyone, though, more significant when you think about it? In terms of, obviously, we grew up with this series. Like we said, started in '99. It's been around for the whole time outside of that small hiatus. I don't think there's any. I'm sure there's obviously examples out there, but I think his.
I think the best other example is Justin Roiland, but like it's like you can't use it anymore because like you can't like when you think of Justin Roiland, you just think about Rick and Morty.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Or at least you used to.
You used to. And yeah, like obviously Seth Green's success cannot be understated with Robot Chicken, other projects, just gold tier. And obviously it's not a lot that he has to do with Chris, but it is, you get some humor from Chris.
He's a funny guy. Robot Chicken is like, it's hit and miss, but it's also, it's very like, it's actually kind of close to this show, because like, this show does cutaway gags that, like, just a bunch of references. Yeah. Raw Chicken is just cutaway gags to show. So I wonder if Seth Green writes, like, I don't know, I gotta do my research. I wonder if Seth Green, like, touches up any of the script or writes any of the episodes or any of the cutaway gags.
I'm sure. It's gotta be, right?
Yeah. He's a fun guy, because I watched the Christmas special documentary, like, yesterday, and he was in that, and he had some fun insight because, he was working on the canceled Star Wars show, Star Wars Detours, and he has like stories of him meeting up with George Lucas and asking him about the holiday special and such.
That has to be cool.
I love that. I can't wait before it comes on streaming. I gotta watch that document. I'm gonna watch that documentary again with you. It's a documentary.
Good. Sounds good.
Look at all those hamburgers. You can't eat all those hamburgers, you stupid fella. Oh, jeez!
Because it's just us, Mark, obviously there's two here. One of them is Season 21, Episode 2, Bender Blockbuster, That's All You, and I chose Season 3, Episode 7, Lethal Weapons. Let's start with, I want to start with yours. I want to lean in.
What about yours? Yours is older.
It is, but the way that this is structured, I'll start with yours.
What are we flying over now?
My ex-wife's house. If you have any garbage or little bags of cat poo, you can drop them now.
Bender or Break, Mark. Bender Break. What the fuck?
Yeah, Bender Blockbuster, dumbass.
Yeah, Bender Blockbuster. So why did this one call to you?
There's two, because we watched a significant amount of the show. Let's be real. So there was a lot of episodes to choose from. So like I knew Bryan was going to pick an older episode.
Well, no, you thought that I was going to pick a Bryan and Stewie episode.
No, well, I just know you're going to pick an older episode in general. Bryan and Stewie, if you're choosing a Bryan and Stewie, I know it's going to be one of the older Bryan and Stewies. So it's going to be because there are newer Bryan and Stewies.
There are.
But like, I knew you're going to pick an older episode, so it's like, I'm going to pick an episode that represents modern Family Guy.
Ah, okay. All right. So that's what's funny is I was gonna say like, yeah, this is I think this is an episode that's like perfectly encapsulating of what modern Family Guy is, like at its average, like not its peak, not its low, but at its average. To me, this is Family Guy today, definitely.
I think it's a really good modern episode. Because I was watching a couple in a row, starting from like season 20. And this one stood out to me because it's just the whole family together, and I like those episodes.
Yeah.
And like they do get some funny jokes out of every member in the family. And like there's some like it's hit and miss, but there's more funny jokes than there are like not funny jokes in this. Because like there's like a different writing style when it comes to like the family between like the eras of Family Guy. Because the classic Family Guy, it's a little bit more slow-paced, and they're more like, I guess they're more fucking,
You're like, what, gradual in their development? Or?
No. They're not as, like, spammy with the cutaway gags. It's not like, they don't throw that much cutaway gags at you as the later season does.
True. I mean, there's some episodes in the early seasons where they.
I guess. Maybe I'm misremembering.
If I remember that episode with that one cutaway of fast animals, slow children has like quite a few, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Okay, I'm gaslighting myself. Never mind. But like, it's the humor is a bit slow paced, but it is still funny.
But yeah, overall, it does like you were trying to get to, like it does progressively change as time goes on, just through that writing of the series and how the writing crew decides how to develop the episode.
I feel like later they got like the later seasons, they started relying more on their cutaway gags, and they were also very long form jokes, as in, like, the joke of Family Guy where the joke just keeps going on for too long.
Yes.
And that's the joke. And he started doing that, and, like, they're kind of doing the South Park thing where, like, they get a kick out of, like, out of referencing something that's very controversial. And also they like adding a ton of shock value. Like, they just like trying to be as offensive, as shocking as they could be. Like, they're not holding back. And, like, the more recent seasons, they got a lot tamer with that. They got a lot tamer. It doesn't seem like the cutaway gags are as repetitive, or like the long form jokes aren't sticking for that long. I feel like they're getting better with the writing.
No, I definitely think the most recent season is definitely a new, I wouldn't say a new high point, but it's definitely very good.
It's getting better.
It's very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a new point, but like it's just getting better. It's better than it was in the middle.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It is, again, this is a long-running show that's been around since '99. I think there was obviously a point, at least when I was sort of a teenager, or where it felt like Family Guy was getting very good at their writing, or hitting another stride. There was a little dull area, I'd say, in the I'd say sort of just around, you'd say, mid-2000s for a brief period, but by the late 2000s, it seemed like they were picking it up again, all the way through the early 2010s, and then it definitely fell out again in that mid-2010s period for me. But, I don't track it that much, but from what I feel like when I watch episodes from those eras, it peaked at certain points and fell again, and that's just normal for a show that's so long-running, But overall, in terms of this story's plot, in this episode, essentially, the family is just, it's just not having fun together. Lois sees that it's just... Lois sees that the family's not having fun together, or she feels like the family is disconnected, so she wants them to have a family fun day.
And the family is just, like, not really participating in it. And there's some relatable gags, like the pizza night, which is one I've endured, where it's just like, hey, we can make our own pizza. And I'm just, like, in my head the whole time, I was like, I just want to eat a pizza. I don't want to make it.
Yeah, it's like just because it's extra steps doesn't mean it's going to be fun. It's just adding these extra steps doesn't mean it's going to make us come together for a fun reason. This is just a more complicated step. Of course, they throw in that Domino's joke. Fine. But overall, the idea is definitely relatable. Now, obviously, they also have the reading instructions on a new game, whether that's a card game, board game. This instance, it was a card game. We've all been there. It's like, hey, we're just trying to learn these new things, but you learn that it's like a 7-step process, and it's like, oh my god.
Many euchre games are scored by rubber points, as in whist. Oh, the first side to win 2 games wins the rubber.
So
I've been there, like, trying to learn a new board game, and, like, the steps just go on forever.
Yeah.
To where you lose, like,
the fun of it.
Well, you lose the fun of it, but sometimes you lose track of, like, some of the explanation. Is like, and so, like, whenever that happens, I'm just like, I just hope I just don't go first. I just hope I just don't go first.
Agreed.
Because when I go first, I'm just like asking the person who read the instructions, like, okay, what I do right now? Okay, what I do then?
It's just
okay, what I do?
A constant remind me.
All right, yeah. Now what I do? Yeah.
When you mentioned earlier the long-form joke, of course, you have that long-form joke in this instance with the card game, but I think it's one of the better executions here because they have Lois do it. They have Lois do it. They have then Peter shoots himself, goes to hell. The devil does it. He shoots himself, goes back up. Lois is still doing it, and then it pulls back to an ad, and the narrator is also doing it. But the way that it's framed, the way it's structured, is it's golden. It fits. Oh, yeah. It makes sense. It's golden.
Oh, you're going about you're talking about the Domino's joke. I thought that was funny. It's just fun how just like deadpan it was. Like, yeah, I choose my pizza topping to be a pizza.
Oh, that.
I like
I was talking about the motto thing, where it's like, Domino's, where does it
I didn't care about that.
Yeah, that's what, yeah. So of course they do the hot air balloon thing, and it's like.
Oh, by the way, like we get an early cameo of like the Clevelands here, and it's like I like how like because like they had a failed spin-off called the Cleveland Show. Well, not failed. It like lasted 3 seasons, but like I guess
in the grand scheme of things, when American Dad is still running, and when Family Guy is still running, it's like technically, I guess, because these shows get such long runtime, it feels like it was a failure.
Yeah. There's some shows that I'm surprised it has more than, like, 1 season.
Yeah.
Like, where did Tough Puppy get, like, 2 extra seasons from?
For those people that liked Fairly Odd Parents.
Or people that are just furries for that cat character.
I mean, that was back in the day when it was, like, Nick was, Legend, a lot of DreamWorks animation, CG, SpongeBob, and Fairly Odd Parents, and Jimmy Neutron, and Planet Sheen. It was a mess. That's where that was. Tough Puppy was right in that mess. I think Planet Sheen got like 2 seasons. You said what?
I think Planet Sheen got like 2 seasons.
I think, yeah, that was the thing. Anyway, back to, but yeah, like, they get the idea though to watch a movie, but Peter goes on sort of this long spiel about Blockbuster's where I just want to.
Oh yeah, don't like let's not do streaming. Let's do it the old-fashioned way. We're gonna rent a video from Blockbuster, and the closest Blockbuster is not around anymore, so they have to go to the next one, which is far as heck. Away. Yeah, thousands of miles away. Yeah, which is they are doing a family road trip.
Yes,
I guess like it goes into like what we like about like your pick as well, which is like it's about it like most of the episode takes place with the family just being together and just like trying to bounce off each other.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that family relatability is, I think, still important in a show like this. Sort of like the idea of like, this person, this my brother is this and annoying, or my sister is annoying in this, or husband and wife being annoying in this, and having arguments like this, and you don't have a lot of that in this episode, but the family relatability is something that's still, I think, important, and why I think whether or not you think this should, not whether you think it is.
Well, I wasn't thinking about that. My thing was, this is a funny cast of characters when they write them well.
Oh yeah, when they write them well, yeah.
Yeah, like when they're like and this is I think this is a well written episode, in terms of like how the characters are written, because I think like everyone in this episode is like pretty funny, even like though like Meg doesn't get that much dialogue and Chris doesn't get that much dialogue either, but like they do bounce off each other a little bit very well.
I think that there's a little bit of missed potential here. Like I don't think that this is where they do it. Well, I don't think they do it well here. But then again, this writing crew was, I think, doing this during COVID, so take with that what you will. There is, for instance, like you have a Springsteen commercial joke during this, and this was back 2022, I believe, is when this aired, and Springsteen was doing a line of Jeep commercials that were really, really stupid. Like it was just, they just like didn't make any sense. Like it's like this guy, it's like why is this guy here? Why is he doing a Jeep commercial? It seemed very antithetical to what he kind of likes as a person. So it just didn't fit. It felt like a kind of desperate ploy. You had a joke later, or pretty soon after, about like the radio joke of, it's Midwest, they like guns, very quick, very like simple. And it's fine. These are fine jokes.
That's the thing about like Family Guy. Simpsons and like The Critic. It's like they'll have jokes where just like it just reference something, and if you don't get it, you won't get it. That's it. I think this The Critic predates Family Guy because this type of writing and humor kind of started with The Critic, because The Critic also had like you know what The Critic is?
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, like The Critic was also had like had a lot of cutaway gags, and like a lot of the gags were just like, hey, it's this reference to this movie / show, and it's just a scene happening, but in the Critic's world,
right?
And that's it.
That's it. Yeah, and I think, again, when we talk about the evolution of Family Guy, again, it's just hit or miss sometimes, and those are just, again, these are just jokes that, some work, some don't. They finally get to Blockbuster after driving forever, and, I do think it's funny, though, like obviously the situation, you can't really think about it. Well, Family Guy. But, like, it is funny that, like, if Peter didn't give them the Blockbuster card, this would have been, like, an episode that just ends normally. Or whatever, or they go back on the road trip. But instead, he gives them a card that still holds a late fee of $32,000. So that puts them in a pickle, and they have to escape. And, you know, they do a long tease about the Sweet Caroline song.
I know it's a cartoon, and most importantly, I know it's Family Guy. But, like, I mean, I'm just gonna say realistically for that situation, why didn't you just, like, have somebody else, like, start their own account and just go in there?
Yeah. I think that's, like, it's one of those things, like, alright, yeah. Like, I do get the relatableness of it, like, oh, you still have a fee, whatever. Blockbuster's problem was the fees, but...
Oh, yeah, it was 66% of the revenue was by late fees.
So... yeah.
And so
it also
because like when they had to like kind of like lessen that to fight against like Netflix and stuff.
Yeah. That took
they were getting fucked.
Yeah. That I will say this episode seems to it's weird because it's like it doesn't stand on either side. Cuz it at first wants to frame it like, "Oh yeah, we're here to support this idea of classic rewatching, essentially renting." But then they don't, kind of. It's like it's not like a celebration of this nostalgic form of watching, but then they don't stamp their flag on that. They kind of move off of it and go into a, like, well, no, because then Blockbuster goes after them, and so the idea is, though, that there's more discomfort in the idea of doing video rental.
I don't think there was... I don't know what, I don't think they were standing on the side. I think the concept was more of a plot device.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, so I don't think they were trying to say or give us that kind of message. So it was just more of a plot device. And it's a funny one. Like, Peter, like, if you just pitched me this episode, I would be like, hey, I'll see it. Like, I don't know, Seth MacFarlane or somebody from the writers team would be like, hey, Peter and his family go on a road trip to find the last Blockbuster. I'm like, oh, that sounds like a funny episode of Funny Hijinks. Sure, write it. I'll see the episode.
Right.
And yeah. I mean, if you want to, get standing on the ground, they do have the tape by the end of the show.
I mean, they do, but wasn't it Amazon that they got delivered to them?
Amazon saved them. They weren't talking about the streaming part.
I thought Chris bought them that tape.
I guess. I don't know.
Wasn't that the whole thing? Like at the end,
I forgot.
It was like you just watched.
Oh. But I'm not trying to stand it. It's just a plot device. It's not. It's a funny description for an episode.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a funny description. Just the idea of looking at if you literally had the idea of the sketch of this where it's the Griffin's car or wagon sitting outside a Blockbuster, that alone is like, all right, what is this going to lead to? What is this story? Like, that's, you know what I mean? That in itself is an interesting thing. I just think everything around it is kind of like, I wish it was a little better integrated. So, obviously they escape, but, they crash, and they escape the Blockbuster employees, but they crash, so the Blockbuster employees catch up to them, they're after them, and...
I like how they, throw, runts, because runts were hard-ass candies.
I never had runts. So.
They're hard
terrible?
candies. No, they're fine.
Chewy Runts from the wild world of Wonka.
What will he think of next?
I don't know if they sell them anymore. I haven't seen runts in a while.
I didn't even know that was a thing. That's why I was like...
Well, that new Wonka movie's coming out, so maybe they might be reselling some older Wonka candies.
Was that a Wonka candy?
It was a Wonka candy.
Oh.
Wonka runts.
I had no idea.
The runts.
So... yeah, but either way, we get this long sequence, this rerun Rambo Fall sequence that was repeated twice, and, again,
I thought it was a funny little gag.
It was funny.
I just wish I wish, after it cuts from the movie footage, they're just, safely on the ground.
Yeah, I definitely would like a better result on that, on the punchline of that.
I mean, that's the thing about, a lot of the, both Family Guy and Simpsons, I can think of easily better touch-ups to their jokes. The corny one was another corny joke in the episode was Stewie is letting out all the farts in there.
Yeah. Oh man.
And it's just and it's more of a parody, he's letting out wild animals. I think a better end to that joke was Stewie letting out the car farts. He just opens the door. You just have like a big gust of wind just go like. You know, Family Guy likes to do long form of jokes, so let it go on for like a solid like fucking 40 minutes or something. and just the animation or the silly drawing of Stewie's face being pulled back by the wind of the farts would probably be funny enough.
Yeah, or just even like a scarred smell effect on his face, like pure disgust. If you want to reference some sort of movie, like just like the horror of his face after all that wind of fart blew past him, like I don't know, simple, and would have saved probably a good 15 seconds from that joke.
Yeah, that's Family Guy for it. It's just it's even at the roller episode. It's always been hit and miss, but like
of course,
there's just some jokes that are just less, just like more like less funny than others.
Yeah,
just like why'd you at a certain point it's like that was so unfunny you didn't really like it was kind of cringy, so like you shouldn't have even bothered writing that. I would just rather have no joke there.
Yeah, there was the Trump joke earlier, or the Trump supporter joke. I don't know, it's 2022 at that point. It's I didn't really know where that one was for. It kind of came out of nowhere. And it didn't. It was like
it's a silly idea. I mean, I get the joke. It didn't make me laugh, but I can recognize it's silly idea. I get it. It's like
I get it. No, I get it.
Everyone on the Trump side is like a bunch of seagulls.
Yeah,
mimicking. Yeah. By the way, I'm not into politics. I don't care about either side.
Isn't that was that? That was South Park, right? That said, how do they make jokes? And it was like a walrus. And it just comes out with...
I forgot.
Wasn't that a South Park joke 10 years ago where they were like, yeah...
Simpsons did it! Simpsons did it!
But where they were looking how does Family Guy make these jokes? Because they thought they were terrible 10 or 15 years ago. And they learned, I think, that it's a walrus that just pushes an algorithm, basically, where it's this... and this, and then they do a cutaway joke.
Well, I remember after, hearing, after the South Park staff made that episode, they got sent a gift basket from the Simpsons staff as a thank you for making fun of Family Guy.
Oh my god.
And this was, back then. So,
yeah. And that had to be around the time, or right after the Simpsons movie. That was 05, 06, I think. So, yeah.
Simpsons movie was 07.
7? Okay. Alright. So, but yeah.
Season 18, baby. Simpsons on season 18 around that time.
So, they look for, after they fall or jump, they look for a way to get back to civilization. They find a cabin, but and Peter apologizes. But the family thinks...
We never even see the owner of that cabin. I was kind of waiting for that.
Yeah, they hint it, but they don't, they hint at it, but they don't do anything with it. But, Peter apologizes, and the family is okay with it because, that's how it goes. The employees find them, and, an Amazon drone just saves them. They get back home. Yeah, Chris ordered Sliver on Amazon. And then Lois announces a quest to go to certain...
In between there's a really bad Fortnite joke. Where I was to play Fortnite.
Yeah, I was like, this is insert whatever game anywhere. This could be 10 years ago, Call of Duty.
They did a better joke, and I think it's either an earlier and much later episode where it's Chris is watching Twitch, and you see his you don't see the computer, you just see his facial reaction to the computer. Yeah. And it's just the screen is what is slow talking voice. Stop screaming! Slow talking. Yeah. Slow talking. Surprise reaction screaming! And then a little subtitle on the bottom of the screen saying, R.I.P. Cable. Cause of death. This. Also hundreds of bad TV shows. That was a better joke to reference modern gaming culture.
Yeah, it's a nice little dig, and it's just a good joke. Nothing complicated.
Oh yeah, I forgot to finish what I was talking about earlier with the Cleveland show. It's I do after the Cleveland show, they just added the characters just to the cast of Family Guy. So
yeah, they moved back into Quahog, and they're just...
And now they have more ideas for episodes because they just added fucking four or five new characters to the mix.
Yeah. They don't use them too often, but I know...
Not anymore. They tried to make use of them earlier.
Yeah, when it's Lois and Bonnie, usually, what's-her-name is there, Cleveland's new wife is there. Or, obviously, Cleveland is there with, I think, and Jerome is working at the bar now. because he was obviously the stand-in black guy for a second there. But yeah, nothing.
They don't get much use out of the kids. They will shoehorn him in some episodes sometimes.
Because I think the kids were just not fun. It was fine. The kids in the Cleveland show it was fine. It was fine. It definitely was the weakest.
It was mediocre at best.
Yeah. So, I think the kids played their part, but in the Cleveland show. But it's like no one watching Family Guy really cares what's happening to Rollo or Cleveland Jr. or what's her name, the girl that, by the way, was an asshole and would.
Cleveland show was on during the cable age because so.
It was also again the key with Cleveland show was it was the high point of McFarlane on Fox. Because he had all three of those shows airing during that Sunday domination point. So.
Oh no! What I'm saying is like Cleveland was like it was still during the cable era, so like sometimes you'll be in a mood to watch Family Guy, but like Family Guy isn't on. Instead, the Cleveland show is on, so you just watch the Cleveland show.
Yeah,
you're just on the mood to watch Family Guy. And it's like why not?
Yeah, it definitely was a covering all the bases kind of thing.
You know? I just described how spin-offs work, but yeah, but that's pretty much it though.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that was episode. Jesus, that was Bender Blockbuster. There we go. Yeah, Bender Blockbuster.
Bender.
So again, I just think like that's definitely one of those. Again, Family Guy. I think unless you're looking at the sort of the nostalgic episodes that personally appeal to you, this is kind of the Family Guy that you're probably going to get if you're like you just turned on the TV hypothetically during a Family Guy marathon.
I think Family Guy is like it's still good. It's good. It's like again, it's like every modern show right now. It's like very hit and miss. The only shows I think
I wouldn't put it in good. I'd put it at fine.
The only like on cable adult cartoons. No, I'm not counting streaming stuff, folks. The only on cable adult cartoons I know of that that still like really get me is that's I think that's really good is American Dad is really good and Rick and Morty is still really good. You know, like Rick and Morty more has whole missed episodes, but like those are far and few between.
I think Rick and Morty still is batting at an average well above what Family Guy on average has done over the past 4 years. So I think that again, I'd put Family Guy at
the only
but I think that they're both fine. Like I think again, that's no insult to the writing team at all. It's just like this is the type of Bender or Blockbuster is the type of show again that if you're like on TV right now and you're scrolling and let's say you're at a hotel and there's a Family Guy marathon, more than likely an episode that you're watching will have this kind of tone.
Oh yeah,
and that's fine.
I think going back to Rick and Morty real quick. I think the most recent episode of Rick and Morty, most recent season of Rick and Morty, been really good. The only exception is like that. The most recent episode was not very good. I saw it was like about like letters and numbers, and it was just a bad joke the whole episode. Letters and numbers fighting each other, and Morty and his teacher are there.
Oh.
It's very corny. It was just a very corny episode.
That's a bummer.
And no Rick in it.
That is.
But then again, they had a couple early episodes of just Rick and no Morty. So.
Yeah, I know that they can't all be winners, obviously, but
yeah,
it is what it is. All right. Let's move over to. I'd say, by the way, Bob's.
Just like the
I'd say
and
Bob's
leave the weapon
Burgers,
too. Huh?
I'd say Bob's Burgers better than definitely.
Oh, I forgot about Bob's Burgers.
Yeah,
okay, no, Bob's Burgers is better than both of those. Fuck, I love Bob's Burgers.
Once I thought about it, once that clicked in my head, I was like, wait a minute.
Fuck, I can't believe I forgot about Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, I was like,
fuck this. Stop watching this podcast. Watch Bob's Burgers. Watch Bob's Burgers. Don't watch anything else in your life. Just watch Bob's Burgers.
I was like, we can't put just Rick and Morty and fucking Family Guy together here without like mentioning like, wait a minute, no fucking way.
I think personally I like Bob's Burgers better than both of those. It's great. It's fucking great.
Yeah, it doesn't do significantly more necessarily than either one of them. Well, more than Family Guy, not more than I'd say Rick and Morty.
It's definitely a different type of show.
It's a different type of show, but I think what it does is definitely just better overall. So. Yeah,
and it has better songs than fucking Disney's, Wish. Yeah.
Yeah, a fraction of the.
But no, seriously, those songs in Bob's Burgers slap.
Yeah, especially like I love the end credits where it's like, you get that reload of one of those goofy songs they might have played. Anyway,
did you see the movie?
What?
Did you see the movie yet?
I haven't finished it, and I remember
the
I
movie
started watching it. I know, that's why I didn't finish it. It was
it's weird. The stakes are like. the stakes are like weaker than some of their specials.
Yeah.
Like some of their TV specials have higher stakes than the movie. I think they needed like a.
The movie is the ditch right in front of the restaurant, and then
yeah
I remember.
They had like specials that had higher stakes in the movie.
They did.
Like, or episodes that have higher stakes in the movie. I think they need to kind of like sit down more on the
ideas
on that movie, and like only 3 songs. Seriously, only 3 songs.
That was
3 in-movie songs. There was, of course, an end credits song.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have done better. God damn.
Well, we'll talk, like you said, outside. We'll do probably the Simpsons movie in the future, and that's one of those where...
And we'll just talk about, like...
Another example.
We'll just talk about just go on another tangent on Bob's Burger. On TV movies in general. That'll be the TV... when we do... whatever next TV movie we feel like, anyway.
Okay, yeah.
TV2 movie, whatever. Not TV movie.
Yeah. Alright, my turn, man. Alright,
no, it's
we're going to talk about Lethal Weapons.
I want another turn. I want to pick another episode and we watch it right now.
Good evening. Tonight's top story, Quahog is infested with loud, hairy creatures also known as New Yorkers.
They migrate north every autumn to see the foliage. And I think I speak for all of us when I say that New York and everyone from there can fornicate themselves with an iron stick.
Now, Lethal Weapons
Just like the bad guys. And Lethal Weapons, too. That song gets stuck in my head.
Now, Lethal Weapons is, to me, like I said before, PSP, this came on that set, that pack that I mentioned earlier.
No wonder you fell in love.
And this is one of those where it's like, I could have chosen that Road to Rhode Island, but it's like, that's a classic, yeah, but this is... I forgot that this was in here when I was looking at the set, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, shit, okay. Yeah, this is it. I'm going to go with this. This is a funny episode. And it's also an episode of its time, right? Like, so the overall idea of this is, like, the idea that there's an invasion of New York, of tourists from New York because the seasons are changing. But also the fact that Lois is trying to, become more prominent within herself, protect herself, and become more dominant. So you have both of those things happening at the same time. One thing that's very interesting is, again, this is an interesting timestamp because it came out on August 22nd, 2001. Now, at that time, you could say whatever you want disparaging about New Yorkers. New Yorkers are this, New Yorkers are that, and here's the just general truth perspective of what people in the northern states and New England thought of New Yorkers coming into their area. They're loud, they poke fun at them, they poke fun at everything. They poke fun at the magazines, they poke fun at the people, they think they're disorderly and, annoying and, combative. But the tone was that, again, a lot of these things that were being said about New York and what they were like and all of that, and a month later, you aren't talking any smack. In fact, the entire community around New York was, hey, we support you, we support this community, we're not going to be super disrespectful toward it. There was this sort of gloves, like, careful talking about New York immediately following the attacks. So the fact that this comes out within a month of the attacks, or a month before the attacks, and gives you a real picture, even though it's obviously satirical, a picture of what people thought of, like, man, New Yorkers are like this and this and this, is a good timestamp of the moment.
There was a lot of unfortunate, I guess, content coming out that year that, accidentally preludes the events of September 11th. Because there was there was a trailer to the Spider-Man movie where he stick the villain.
I mean, that's not anything that's like...
It has to do with the towers. There's an episode...
Yeah, but I'm not talking about the towers. I'm just saying, it is an interesting fact.
Well, it goes with that, though. It just goes with that. It's just, the timing is just weird. There's an episode of Simpsons that came out that year where, Bart accidentally, I think he gets into a boy band that is a cover-up for him joining the army. And the army's goal is to shoot a missile at the tower.
At
a tower, yes. And they do. They shoot a missile at a tower and everybody falls down.
Huh. That's crazy.
And of course, they don't air that episode for a while after that.
That makes sense.
The events of 9/11, so.
Yeah, it's kind of odd things of it's just things that are discussed around this time period that obviously will be immediately after sort of impacted in the way culturally you talk about it, or the societal norms of how you talk about it. And this is just one of those many instances where it is just a very I found it very striking. I didn't mean to purposely go after this episode for that reason. I had actually chosen it for just the fact that I had seen a YouTube clip of the fight.
I like it because of 9/11. That's the only reason I like it.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
I like it for that reason.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad. That's why. So overall, though, so let's see,
the towers.
So again, there's this episode is filled to the brim with so many, and I mean so many, just to me, little solid comedy nuggets, right? Obviously when the leaf changes and a maddening number of cars come in and everyone's tone changes and this orchestral sound comes in, and of course I think Bonnie's like, what about the boat? And then Joe's urgently, leave it! And they get in.
I do like the baby's kicking joke.
You said what?
I do like the baby's kicking joke.
And the baby's kicking. Oh yeah, that's the thing. So many pieces of this episode have been clipped out and put onto YouTube early. And I mean early YouTube. That's the one thing that's interesting is early YouTube was flooded with a lot of early Family Guy clips.
And that's because that's why Family Guy Funny Moments is itself is a huge meme, because there's so many videos just clipping Family Guy and just called Family Guy Funny Moments. It's the original funny moments of most clip shows on YouTube, clip compilations on YouTube. I just remember me and friends just watching Family Guy Funny Moments.
Absolutely.
Just laughing at the colorway gags and stuff.
Come one, come all. She floats like a butterfly and stings like when I pee.
Peter, I am not a sideshow attraction. At least not anymore. Me likey bouncy.
You have the back of the car antics, and I think this does it very well. You have Chris messing with Meg, messing with, going back and forth, and then you have Peter and Lois, and they're going back and forth, and it's Peter's being more aggressive, ignoring what she's saying. Essentially, yeah, we're gonna get McDonald's. It's again, these are just relatable moments that are just sort of real. They're jokes, but they're jokes based in reality of people that just sort of overlook the value of sort of having that agreeable partnership.
I like it escalates to where you think it doesn't escalate to, because Peter, I think Peter gets into a fight with a New Yorker, and then Lois just beats him up, and the family is talking about how Peter might be dismasculine and might not take it well, and then it just most of the episode is Peter just trying to take advantage of his wife being strong.
Yeah, absolutely.
And good at fighting.
Yeah, that's you. But yeah, again, you don't get much of sort of Bryan in this episode, but he has a funny little joke about when she's actually shocked she fought back or punched the guy out. Bryan's or she's I will not teach Chris and bring violence into our schools.
Well, you don't get really much of a lot of the characters in this episode. This is mainly a Lois and Peter episode. Kind of last episode was mainly a Lois and Peter episode too.
Absolutely. Funny how we kind of lined up on that. There are many funny moments with Stewie. I think they execute. Obviously, Stewie earlier they obviously do a lot more with in the earlier seasons, I think, than what they've done lately with Stewie. Now they still have adventures with Stewie, but they don't sort of put him in these spots like they did in the earlier seasons.
No, they will. It's just for episodes that are about him.
Yeah, that's right. Less so overall. That's what I mean. Obviously, there's early in the church, he dresses up as the devil. That's another YouTube clip moment. Obviously, just very funny. He does the, pranks or whatever.
Oh, yeah, and he advertises the joke shop.
Ha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha.
I forgot the joke shop's name, but he keeps advertising it.
Yeah. The guy gets hit with holy water and shit, and he's
I forgot which episode it goes to, but I thought it was going to go into the whacking inflatable waving arm tube man bit.
Yeah.
After he'd done advertising, that's a different episode.
Absolutely.
That's why I first saw the concept of those weird things before seeing them in person. Yeah. And I just think about that cutaway gag because it's funny. Even when they're animated, those things are funny to look at. I want one inside my own house.
Absolutely. I'd like a miniature. I don't know why no one's made a miniature where you just have like a little.
There probably are now because like Nope made them pop freaking Nope. Who's the director? Yeah, freaking
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele's Nope made him popular again.
Yeah, they have like 2 billion of them. They probably bought all the stock in the area.
They had like that fun standing in theaters where it was like just 3 of them.
Yeah.
Just like waving. Like,
how many of them did you think he paid for to get them all across the fucking country? All those AMCs, you imagine. Anyway, obviously over time, Lois keeps training because Peter keeps pushing her to, in a way that makes her want to train. And so now gets to the point where she even tests the sensei. She beats the sensei. And again, this is where we get to again. So here's a classic Family Guy sort of combat sequence. And you don't, I do like, again, not only do I like, obviously, the early, I understand some people like the newer art style, but I think it loses some of its personality, even though it does look better. I do love a lot of the look of even though it's cheap, a lot of the early Family Guy seasons, probably for nostalgic purposes. And, I like how they animate the combat sequences, obviously.
Oh, yeah. I personally like the newer art style better because I like the models a little bit better, but I like the non-digital animation of the old one. So I wish you can get the best of both worlds there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess the same thing with the Simpsons. Just like, actually no, well, Simpsons always had like the same kind of models, same type of model sheets, designs. I like the hand drawn aspect of the Simpsons.
Right.
Back when it's just like digital. These shows when they're on their digital just doesn't hit the same as like the hand drawn seasons.
Absolutely not. So they get back to the bedroom and we get a Speed 3 joke. Now the Speed 3 joke is because Speed 2 had come out recently. Massive flop, real disappointment because of the fact that in Speed 2 they chose a very slow vehicle. They chose a cruise ship, which was much slower than a bus, which is the pure excitement of the first Speed. So the joke about the Speed 3 in this was, it's an iceberg. So it's like the joke is, wow, you're going to choose something even slower. That's ridiculous. So I think it was fitting if you know what Speed 2 was and its significance. I think it's a kind of fitting joke,
The ridiculousness of that joke was like funny. I know the concept of Speed, but I haven't seen the movies yet. I'm uncultured.
You can't say that with all these ScreenBlast podcasts out here.
I'm gonna say it every time. It's like my, it's like my disabilities card.
Yeah.
Like I can't walk. I'm handicapped. Well, I didn't see this movie because I'm uncultured.
So Stewie smacks Peter with a bat because he was being emasculine, and and Lewis finally realizes, oh shit.
I just love that build up. You see, Peter just keeps talking, and like Stewie just doing a couple practice swings right behind him.
Yeah, like it's just golden. But yeah, so of course Lewis sort of feels responsible for the fact that now violence is in her house. So they go to a children's sort of psychology center. And, he gets to the point where he acts like he's going mad. He bites the doc's ear and,
Which is weird. Like, Lois sees it as, like, behavior she brought into the house, but, like, this is, like, how Stewie... To the audience, we know this is how Stewie...
This is always how Stewie acts, yeah. He also liked the fact that, of course, earlier in the episode, Lois was, like, very dominant against another mom who just took a swing. Which, again, another parent moment where it's like, hey, some parents are definitely assholes that'll do some shit like that. So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. But...
I mean, like, we have, like, black moms have attitudes. I had my black mom attitude moment before.
Could have just said attitude and mom moment, but...
Black moms, they have...
Lois is a white... I didn't want to do this on CartoonChat and then make it...
Too late.
And then 2 years from now, they're going to pull out... Well, Mark just said,
I'm talking about my mother.
Women, blah, 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 blah.
I'm talking about my mother.
All right. Cool.
She's an independent black woman.
Now, they get back to the house.
Love you, Mom! All right.
Now, after the psychology thing, they go back to the house. They're like, all right, we're going to try and do this. No more anger. And they try out role reversal, but again, this is not a way that anger is spilling out. And it gets to the point where Brian's like, look, all right, we're just going to try some some pills that he has that de-stresses, and he realizes he reveals later that they're just sugar. They're nothing else. It's just a placebo. They're just sugar.
Okay.
And so that just makes them even angrier. and
for no reason. All right. So I just want to say before we go further.
Well, that wouldn't make sense why they're angry. It's like dude, so these did nothing.
Yeah, they get angry after they learn it's a placebo.
Yeah, that's yeah. I
just want to say this whole third act is the episode to me. Because it just takes place in the house, and it's just with the family bouncing off each other.
Yeah.
This is what makes the episode, because everything before this was pretty funny, but it was just an okay episode.
I think it's more of again, you get more of the digs at New York. It's more.
I get it.
It's not as over the top as obviously what comes in the third act, but it's like, it's more fitting for where they are. And
I can see that.
It feels more like location-based humor and lighter tone humor. But obviously, when you get to the fight, that definitely was a bombastic.
Well, the whole third act in general, even before the fight, I just like them bouncing off each other inside the house. I think this is a great moment, because again the episode itself, it's fine. There's some episodes I like more than this in these earlier seasons.
Yeah.
But this third act just makes the whole episode right here. It's fantastic.
And I just love the building and the building and the building and the building until obviously it's it just gets into one big fight. And of course, one of this isn't the key reason why the fight's because it's already starting, but it's you can't obviously Peter punches Lois and it's you can't hit me, I'm a girl. Sometimes I wonder. That has always been so fucking hilarious, because it's she's your wife, you fucking dumbass. And that is a golden line.
The one thing this Family Guy team is good at is they know how to animate action well.
Oh yeah.
They're because something they do like to do every season or periodically is they love doing the Peter chicken fights, and they go as out as they're allowed to do with the chicken fights.
Yeah.
They could do more, but they're kind of restricted with their art style. But they make the most out of their animation with the chicken fights. It's very fun action, because they're sometimes there's just no joke in it. It's just cool.
Yeah, sometimes they just look at each other and it starts, and it's just there's no. It's just all action.
Oh yeah, and it's fun. It's just fun to look at.
Yeah, and I don't know if this was before they started doing the chicken fight. I don't remember which season where it started, but obviously
it was definitely early. It was an early season.
Yeah. Hey Echo, when was the first Family Guy chicken fight episode?
You're not. It's a Bing.com search engine. You're not going to get the answer.
The first Family Guy chicken fight episode.
Oh.
To Boom. Aired on December 26, 1999.
Oh, Bing actually had the answer.
Season 1, they think? That was season 1?
Yeah, it was early.
Wow.
It was a very old episode.
That's impressive.
I remember that episode having the old art style.
Wow.
I'm surprised Bing.com had the answer.
Yeah.
The Alexa uses Bing.
Terrible. Now, but again, I just think, I do so there's a moment where the fight breaks for a second, and because Peter gets his head stuck into a donkey's ass, essentially, artwork, and that's a definite family moment. Sometimes sometimes I'm family just in a real argument. Sometimes it just blows to a point where it's man, this is so stupid. What are we doing? And it breaks into laughter. And I do think that's also that feels
that fooled me. Even to this viewing, it was I was because it just came to me what's about to happen next. But that fooled me more than once, where it's okay, this is where it ends, and then you forget that Stewie's not on screen anymore, and he just comes running in screen, in frame, and just hits a chair on Bryan. What's it on Bryan?
I think so, or
Lois is one. It's somebody.
It's one of them, and then it just all goes
start fighting again, and it just cuts away from that.
Yeah. And it's not even the last joke. You would think hey, we would you ended on that. That's already a gold tier. But then they ended on Peter being so high on his horse about man, the network needs to control these shows. They need to control.
What are they gonna do? Cut our budget?
And they show the frames being super reduced.
That's a funny joke to end on.
And that's a good one. I think if you whether you ended on the Stewie one or that one, it's both good. But You know, I think you ended on like the Stewie one. I think that's just like that's a gold ending right there because the way it wraps, the way it like gives the impression that the fight would go on infinitely is funny too.
Yeah. This is definitely like this episode is probably one I think about when I think about classic Family Guy. Just like Blockbuster and Ben is a really good episode for like when I think about modern Family Guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean it's one of those things where, you know, look, again, this is a 2-decade plus long running show.
It's fourth long running. What are the other three?
Number 1 is Simpsons. Number 2 is South Park. Number 3 is Arthur. Number 4 is Family Guy.
Arthur's gonna move down then.
Yeah, once.
So Family Guy is number 3.
No, because technically, because of that gap, it's going to take a couple of years anyway for Family Guy to catch up.
It's still gonna be running then anyway. So
I mean, yes, but you can't just say it's going to be 3, sure, but it still has to keep going.
Not my ass is gonna be
Family Guy. I don't know how Aqua Teen is 6. That can't be right because they literally definitely had a long pause. That's
same thing with Venture Brothers.
the top 5 are definitely true. SpongeBob, Family Guy, Arthur, South Park, Simpsons, yes.
Same thing with Venture Brothers. They've been like, they only have like 7 seasons, but they've been running for like a dozen years.
Yeah.
Since 2020.
All right, well, good job, Mark. Very close. Almost had it, but you didn't get the cookie, so... Yeah.
Bullshit! Arthur's dead. This show is still going. It's gonna surpass it.
I think it needs to get to, 2025, 26, and then I think it's good once it gets to... Because, again, it's the fact that also it ended for a good 3 years. Family Guy stopped for 3 years, so...
I didn't listen to my heart. I didn't listen to the beat. I didn't listen to the rhythm of the street. I should have opened up my eyes. Should have opened up my ears. We should have gotten together and make things better by working together. It's a simple message, and it comes from... Oh, you're not going to stop me. You're just going to let me keep going.
No, because, I was thinking, this is going to be the next YouTube apology for what you said earlier in the episode. All right, so this is... now, I will say, before we wrap this up, interestingly enough, Family Guy actually...
Sucks.
Big move, obviously, for television. Now, obviously, television's kind of in I'd say, death spiral.
They're finally going to cancel it?
Outside of sports. Now, Fox... Oh. Well, Fox is actually going to move Family Guy from Sundays. This is for the first time in over about 20 years. It'll be moving from Sunday nights, which is where it's landed forever. For a very long time, it's been on that premiere block with The Simpsons and obviously many shows that have gone in and out on that Fox Sunday lineup. After football for years, it'll move to Wednesday nights starting in March. And the thing about Family Guy is ratings have, and this is just because it's easy to find on streaming, since 2015, ratings have just declined year over year, just cascade year over year. So,
that's crazy. That'd be really inconvenient if whenever I start watching cable.
Yeah. Well, again, TV, not cable.
TV. Fuck.
Yeah.
That's gonna be inconvenient when I start watching TV.
Yeah. So
digital, whatever, Comcast.
No, just local, whatever. Fox's broadcast network. So.
Cable broadcast, whatever. Fucking.
So there's cable, and then cable is
digital, I guess.
You can't read. Cable is the stuff that you have to pay for, and then there's broadcast, which is the broadcast network.
Look at it.
That's because you're blue. That's because you have blue that you're wearing, so it's trying. So your webcam is trying to be nice to you, but you're turning into a superhero. Anyway, do you have any closing thoughts on Family Guy?
I just noticed that, folks.
Yeah, do you have any closing thoughts on Family Guy? I think we, again, we will revisit Family Guy. I think there's a lot to talk about.
We will.
We do one of those. I definitely wouldn't mind doing one of those Star Wars specials because if you've seen Star Wars, it's a pretty funny alternate take on our parody on Star Wars. Obviously you have so many different movie sort of parodies and different takes from Family Guy, but with characters that you enjoy. So, yeah.
So is the next episode of Cartoon Chat, we're going to revisit Jackie Chan Adventures again?
I didn't say we were going to revisit all the shows, Mark.
Can we?
I didn't say we were going to revisit all the shows, Mark.
You didn't say we can. I asked a question.
I know. Now, Mark, you have anything else you want to say before we wrap up this episode?
Ted's very funny. I like Ted. And Seth MacFarlane is still a funny guy.
Yeah, he's a great writer.
He has some misses, Thousand Ways to West was...
1,000 Ways to Die in the West is the only...
Looks awful.
It is the only...
I only experienced that movie through review. Go ahead.
It is the only real, really, really, really bad spot in his lineage of content. Because, my God, that was awful. But outside of that, I mean, yeah. Great guy. He can sing really well. He can, act for comedic purposes. He can write, obviously, and he can do voice acting, and he has great just speaking, obviously, skills. So, yeah, fantastic.
And Peter Griffin is like, I'm not speaking ironically, but he is like, he's an iconic cartoon character. He's like his existence in itself is a meme. He just recently Fortnite's already big, but everyone's hype about his recent announcement for Fortnite because it's freaking Peter Griffin.
Yeah, it's so
because he's just a funny cartoon. He's a funny man.
It's so stupid, but it's such a good idea. It's like you might as well. Why not?
They made him muscular.
Yeah.
But that. If there's anything to look forward to Family Guy, it's just Peter Griffin is a funny character in terms of design, in terms of voice, in terms of personality. He's an icon. He's no joke. I'm not saying this ironically. He is one of the greatest iconic cartoon characters because he just has that longevity. He's just funny. That's it. And I guess for the modern audience, for people of our era.
Yeah. He's definitely one of the most recognizable if you don't...
It's same thing, I'll put him up there with SpongeBob SquarePants.
You wouldn't put Stewie in there? So it's not... I think Stewie is Stewie was definitely...
Stewie's funny. I see Peter Griffin in memes more than Stewie.
Yeah, but I think if you were to ask people who this person is, I think both of them, you would win. People would know who both of those characters are. I think immediately.
I think in general, in terms of iconicness, it's
both.
No, I think it's Peter Griffin. Same thing now. Because it used to be Bart Simpson, but now it's just Homer Simpson. I just see Homer Simpson with the iconicness.
Again, if you put both of them on a poll, if you ask, "Hey, who's this?" and "Hey, who's this?" they're gonna say either they'll know who Bart and they'll know who Homer are. No one's gonna be confused by either. The same way that if you put up Stewie and you put up Peter, they're gonna know who both of them are. I think they're both equally iconic because they're both equally valuable to audiences in their own way. I don't think that Peter rises above Stewie at all. And I think even Meg...
Peter's funny to do impressions on, especially with that laugh.
I don't know. I think the British accent is just harder for people to nail. So, yeah, I don't know. I really feel like it doesn't matter.
Agree to disagree.
Sure. I'm gonna put a poll up. I'll put a poll up for on the channel. Go ahead and vote on that poll. So anyway, guys, we
got one viewer just gonna answer it. It's just all up to him then.
Yep. It's gonna be you. You're gonna fucking spam that shit with 4 different votes. Anyway, guys, this is Cartoon Chat, all about.
That's how you're gonna claim it if I win.
This is again the Cartoon Chat episode. All right, about Family Guy. Of course, if you like this episode, make sure to go to ScreenBlast Society on YouTube. Go to ScreenBlastPodcast.com, and of course, you can find us, like I said before, on YouTube, ScreenBlast Society. You can find us on Cartoon Chat on YouTube. You can find Mark. Where can they find you, man?
K9 Business, that's K9BISK,
KUTS, you had it.
KKK.com, K9BISKUTS.
That's .org, sir. And of course, you
I don't have a .org. That's...
No, I'm saying the triple K that you were talking about.
Oh.
And of course, you can find.
How do you know? What the fuck?
Because it's your website. Now you can find me at Bryan the Baltimorean.
That you bought from me.
BryanTheBaltimorean.com, or you can find me on. Fuck you. You really.
Bryan, wait!
Alright, and you can find me on At Democracy, or right here on the ScreenBlast Society. I appreciate you guys.
Speaking of Bryan, we're past the, this year was the 10th, most recently was the 10th year anniversary of Bryan's death.
Yeah, the most desperate moment in all of Family Guy. They really got those viewers in.
It was a good stunt, because the people just fell for it.
They did.
We fell for it, fuck. We thought they were going to replace him.
We definitely brought it up when we saw each other after they killed him. We were like, wow, they really killed him. Wow. And they were like, how long is this going to last? And of course it lasted like 3 minutes. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just planned. It's not like they, I had friends who was like, yeah, they changed it because people complain. It's like, no, like episodes take like 9 months to make. They didn't backtrack that fast.
No, this is all planned out, guys. Come on. All right, appreciate you guys for watching.
Logging out, everybody.